Creating a 2D array. Today you are going to learn how you can create a 2D array. First of all, you should know what is a 2D array. In a 2D array, there are two columns and number of rows may be any number of rows, but columns are 2. We can create a two-dimensional 2D array by passing instead lists. Let's take example array 3 equal to np.array 2.4 3 4.91 7 0. So when you want to create a 2D array, first of all you have to give its name. As example 6.1. Our name of the array is array 3. Okay. Here an identifier, you can change it with any name, maybe array 1, array 2, list. Okay. Then you need to use any object np.array. Then you need to pass an argument as a list. Okay. Parenthesis, square bracket, number of elements or items like 2.4, 3, 4.91, 0, minus 11. These are the items of arrays. And how will you print? On the cell you need to type array 3 and it will display all the elements of array. But you see 0 minus 1 have been promoted to floats. Okay, what is the reason behind it? The reason behind it that integers are promoted to float. If any one integer is found, then it is promoted to float. Let's see on the cell. Here you have to type the commands to create the list. But first of all, you need to import Numpy as np. So Numpy library is imported. There is some error message because the spelling of import was wrong. Let me correct it. Import Numpy as np. In place of np, you can take any other identifier, whatever you want. Now let's create a array. The name of the array is array 3 equal to np dot array. np dot array. Parenthesis, square bracket, again square bracket to create a list. And here you can start typing of items. I take 1, 2 as list of items, another item 3 and 4 or 0.2 you can take, one more item, take comma, and another item is 5 and 6. So all items are integer except 0.4. Now press the enter key and see our array is created without any array error. Now print the all items of list by typing the command array 3. Just press the enter key. All the items are shown in front of the screen, and see all other items or integers are promoted to float because in list there was an item 0.4 that was float. This was the reason all the integers are promoted into float like 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 5 point, 6 point, etc. So this point should be noted. Let's come on the theory part. Now one more examples you are going to learn. Example 6.2. Here array1.ndim 1 is printed, array3.ndim 2 is printed. Here ndim means number of attributes of Numpy array. Some important attributes of a Numpy ndarray object are ndarray.ndim gives the number of dimensions of the array as an integer value. Arrays can be 1D, 2D, ND. In this chapter, we shall focus on 1D and 2D arrays only. Numpy calls the dimensions as axes, plural of axis. Thus, a 2D array has two axes. The row axis is called axis 0 and the column axis is called axis 1. The number of axes is also called the array's rank. Let's take an example, array1.ndim. Its dimension is 1 because it was a one-dimensional array. Array3.ndim, its output 2 because its dimension was 2. Let's run the program on array3.ndim. Array3.ndim, it is printing 2 because the dimension of array3 is 2. You also find out their commands or using ndim method. Here are some more examples and more methods are there. ndarray is the sequence of integers indicating the size of array for dimension. Example 6.3. Array 1 is a 1D array. There is nothing in sequence array1 dot shape. So it is printing 3 because there are rows. Okay. Array2 dot shape, it is printing 4. Array3 dot shape, 3, 2. In shape denotes the number of rows and second number denotes the number of columns. 3, 2 means array rows and 2 columns. Okay, I have understood. ndarray dot size. This method, first of all, let's complete dot shape method. Okay, a number of rows and number of in the referred. Let's run the codes on the cell array3 dot shape. Press the enter key. 3, 2. 3 means there are 3 rows and number of columns are 2. Understood? So it was very simple to use shape method. So like this way you can find out dimension, number of dimension of any array. Let's take example array2 equal to np array parenthesis square bracket for storing the item a b and C. These are close the parenthesis, press the enter key, and list will be prepared. A string will be prepared as a one-dimensional array. But it is creating array. Do you know the error? There is a syntax error. We should write np.array, but dot is missed. So again I am typing the code np.array and passing the same items of the list A, B and C. The square bracket and parenthesis, press the enter key. Now array is created. Now again we have to use shape method. So we have to type array2 dot shape. Then press the enter key. Can you imagine the output? 3. Why? Because there are 3 rows. How many rows are there? 3 rows. Okay. A number of columns are not printed because there is only one column. And it is default. So only clear. Let's create another array. Array1 is equal to np.array. Then see the items of the array. This is a two-dimensional array. An item 2, comma 3 and 4. This is a 2 into 2 array or two-dimensional array. Press the enter key. See, array is created. Program is executed without any error. Let's code out its shape. What is the command? Array1 dot shape. What should be the output? Can you imagine? See the green 2 because there are 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay. Now come back to the theory part and let's take one more to run on the cell. Next method is size. ndarray dot size. It gives the total number of elements of the array. This is equal to the product of the shape. Example 6.4 array1 dot size. What is the size? 3. 3 elements are there. Array3 dot size. What is the size? 6 because 6 elements are there. This, to find out the size of the array, you need to use only dot size method. And it will tell you the size of any array which is referred before the size method. Clear? And this size method is included in Numpy library. Now come back to the cell. See array3. How many elements are there? 6 elements are there. So let's type the command array3 dot size. Press the enter key. What is the output? 6. 6 is printed because number of the elements on array3 6. Okay. Let's take another array, array2. How many elements are there? 3 elements are there. Let's find out the size with the help of command array2 dot shape. Press the enter key. 3. Number of elements are 3. So 3 is the output. Let's take one more example of the array, array1. How many elements are there? 4 elements. So let's type the command array1 dot size. What is the output? 4. Okay, because there are 4 elements. Clear? Let's cover some more topics. Next is ndarray d-type. D-type means data type. Is the data type of the elements of the array. All the elements of an array are of same data type. Common data type are int32, int64 and float 32, float 64 and u32. Okay, let's tell array1 dot data type or d type. So what is the output? Int array2 232, array3 d type, what float 64. Okay, you can run these commands on and find out the data type of the array whatever you have. Okay, now we use method. This method is included in the library. So after importing Numpy on the Python, you can use this. Let's run the code on array3. Okay, what type of items are there? All are float. So let's type array3 dot d type. It is printing float 6. Another array2. There are items ABC. So find out array2 dot d type. Find out the output. What is the output? Output is d type u1. Okay. Next array1. It has all integer data types. So write the command array1 dot. Now see the output. What is the output? Look at the screen. Int32 because all are integer. I hope you have understood using d-type method along with okay. So d-type out the type of array. Now come to the screen. ndarray dot item size. It size in bytes of each element of the array. Type int32 and means each element of the array occupies bits in memory. It's form a byte. The int32 has item size 32 divided by 8 is equal to 4 bytes. Like int64, float 64 means item size 64 upon 8 is equal to 8 bytes. Example 6.6. See, so item size will help you to find out number of items in array. How will you use it? Array item size. So it is 4. Memory allocated to integer 4. Array2 dot item size 128. Memory allocated to and array 8. Memory allocated to float. Clear? So you can easily find out the memory allocated to the item using the item size method. Let's come back to the cell and we take our array3 and type the command array3 dot item size. It will display the size of the item on the screen. So our command is array3 dot item size. Press the enter key. 8. Why? Because these are float items, so 8 byte is reserved for them. Let's take another array and find out item size. Okay, which array should we take? We have another array, array 3 dot, shape array 3, array 2, array 2 has vowels. Okay, some characters are there, A, B, C. So array 2 dot item size, and for the character, what is the size required? 4 byte. Okay, because these are characters. Clear? Next, array 1, these are integers. So find out the item size for the integer by typing the command array1 dot item size. Now see the output. 4. 4 is the output. 4 byte. 4 means 4 byte. Let's come to the screen. Let's learn some more commands, other ways of creating Numpy arrays. So there are so many methods to create Numpy arrays. First method you have learned previously, how to create arrays. Okay, but there are many other ways to create the array. You have to know those methods. Clear? Let's read. We can specify data type, integer, float, etc. while creating array using d type as an argument to array function. This will convert the data automatically to the mentioned type. In the following example, nested list of integers are passed to the array. Function. Since data type has been declared as float, the integers are converted to floating point numbers. Array 4 equal to np.array. Items are given and data type is also specified. It is a explicit. Okay, programmer explicitly define that all the data types are float. Okay, our programmer wants that data type should be float for the array, but items are passed as a integer. So interpreter will be promoted all the integers into float data type because programmer is defined using the d type is equal to float. Okay, so you need to write np.array 1 2 3 4 and d type equal to float for the promotion of data type. Clear? Then how will you see the items of the list? Array 4 you need to type and see 1 2 3 4 integers are promoted into float because of d type equal to float is given on the code. This is the reason integers are promoted into float. Okay, so you can run the code on the cell and practice yourself how it happens. So let's open the Python cell and just start typing the code. Array 4, it is the name of the array, np dot array. Okay, now specify the list items. They are 1 2 integers, 3 4 integers. Okay, then comma, specify d type equal to float. Now close the bracket and run the code and see what happens. There is a syntax error. or invalid syntax. So some brackets are missed, we need to correct them, then only code can be executed. Let's try once again. You can do copy paste if there is some mistakes on the code. So you can do copy paste and run again. Again there is a syntax error. Error message is shown invalid syntax. So we need to correct the syntax. Okay. So where is the problem? We need to write d type equal to float. That was correct. One bracket is not closed, so we need to close the bracket, then code will be right. So let's copy the code and paste it. Okay, then code will be executed. If a small error is there, any typing mistake is there, even if you do not put the comma, code cannot be run. Okay, so you need to do practice again so that you may get perfect in writing codes. Okay, so let's see, and we need to correct the mistakes. We need to close one square bracket. I'm pasting the code and closing one more square bracket, then comma, d type float, specify, close the parenthesis, press the enter key. Now code is executed successfully without any error. Okay, now print the array. How? You need to type the name of the array, array4, press the enter key, see the output. What happens? Our data is changing. All the data, all the list items are promoted into float because d type equal to float was specified in the code. Okay, so you have learned one more method to create a list using d type. Okay, so this way you can change the data type as per your requirement. Okay, you can change into integer, float, character, string, whatever you want by using d type method. Explicitly, as per your requirement, you can choose the data type.